Thanks for joining us today for another session of Write It Wednesday. This is Lori from the Glenwood branch, and helping me out in the background is Victoria, also from the Glenwood branch. Each week we will bring you fun writing prompts, tips, techniques, and resources to help you grow as a creative writer. Our first two sessions we engaged you with some fun writing prompts. In this session we'll explore a way to use art to look at characterization. So let's get started with a character building resource using art, inspired from actual portraits in the collection at the National Gallery of Art in DC. This collection is called Faces of America. You may recognize at least one face on the screen right now, but even if you don't know who any of these people are, you can glean a lot of information from them just by careful observation of the details in their portraits. Why do we spend time developing characters? Creating compelling and well-rounded characters for your stories helps keep your readers engaged and invested in the character's journey. In this session, we will explore the power of portraits and poetry to add depth to your writing with a unique tool to build your characterization skills. So first, you're going to want to choose a character from a work of art. At the end of the session, I'll show you how to access a portrait set provided by the National Gallery of Art, but really any artwork will do for this session. The second task, once you've chosen that artwork, is to take your time and closely observe the portrait. And while you're noticing details, ask yourself in this moment, what might the character in this artwork be thinking or feeling? Once you've done that careful observation, your third task will then be complete an I am poem, using this template to respond to the prompts as you think the character would respond from the artwork. So let's take a look at one particular portrait found in the Faces of America set from the National Gallery of Art. This one is painted by John Singer Sargent and is titled after the young girl featured. Her name is Eleanor Beatrice Townsend, and she was the sixth of 7 children born to John Joseph Townsend, a New York attorney and politician, and his wife, Catherine Rebecca Bronson Townsend. Take a close look at the portrait. What details do you notice? It can be helpful to ask, what do I see? What do I feel? And what do I wonder? So when I look at Miss Beatrice Townsend's portrait, for me, I see the stark contrast of her red sash and her necklace compared to the black and white dress. I also see her very direct gaze, which makes me feel like she is challenging me or even daring me in some way. And I wonder why the only other detail in the painting is her dog, and I wonder what her dog's name is. So after reflecting on Miss Beatrice's portrait, I created this I am poem based from her perspective. So I'll go ahead and read the poem that I created. I am strong and proud. I hear scolding from my parents, but I don't listen. I wonder what tomorrow may bring. I worry I will grow up to be like my older sisters, vain and silly. I understand what my parents expect of me, but I don't like it. I feel confident and bold. I dream of a real, true adventure. I am strong and proud. And then I've titled this poem, Adventure Awaits. So by imagining inner lives through the details contained in portraits, you can help begin growing your skills of observation and your sense of what details can help define your characters. If you are artistically inclined, sketch out a portrait of one of your characters. Or even if you're not so artistic, think of what your character would want included in a portrait that would represent them to the world. And then try writing an I am poem, like the one on the screen, from the perspective of your character. So similarly to what I did with Miss Beatrice, I imagined what she might be thinking and I created that poem to help me think of her character. You can do the same using this poem. You don't need to include pages of descriptions for your character in your story. It's really fun to create characters with lots of interesting details, but you can just sprinkle those throughout your story. That helps your reader conjure their own portrait of what your character might be in their own imaginations. And so you can find the Faces of America portrait set that's inspired today's session on their main page at the National Gallery of Art. The website is listed on the website here. When you are searching for that, type Faces of America into their search bar and click on the education filter that's on the left-hand side of your screen. This will bring you to the Faces of America Portraits link. And embedded in that lesson, you will find the entire Faces of America image set. Feel free to download this resource to find lots of interesting portraits to inspire you. Or you can browse through even more portraits on the National Gallery of Art's Pinterest page. And did you know that the library also has a collection of artwork that you can check out? Of course, right now, when we're closed, they are not available, but once it is safe to do so, you can visit our central branch and check out the library's artwork collection. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this session of Write It Wednesday, and we'll see you next week. Take care.